Ladies and gentlemen, the race begins today at Goblin420.com. The new merch drop is available now, just dropped today, August 16th, with fire new merch and stuff we've never done before, like stainless steel water bottles, trucker hats, posters, crop tops for the ladies. We have it all. Head over to Goblin420.com and check out the new merch drop today, and keep watching the video because I might sneak in a special little discount code. Thank you guys for watching, and without further ado, let's dive right into it. In today's video, we're talking about a pretty embarrassing incident. An incident that honestly, when I was younger, I thought I would never share, because when I was younger, I cared about the things that people said to me. But the internet has commented and called me a fat loser so many times that I'm not ashamed to tell this story. I'm not ashamed to say anything on the internet anymore. I have a foot fetish. I'm not ashamed, okay? So this took place back in the good old glory days of high school, all right? The junior year of high school. You know, watching my videos, you might think I peaked in high school. But this was during my junior year of high school, and it was right at the end of the school year during a kind of interesting period. You see, for about the last month of my junior year, I didn't actually go to school. I had just gotten out of the psych ward / rehab, whatever you want to call it. When you're a minor, they just slam you in the psych ward for anything. You know, granted, maybe I was a little crazy, but it was mainly the drugs, you know? But either way, I had gotten out of this psych ward rehab situation, and I didn't go back to school for pretty much the rest of the school year, because by the time I had gotten out, there was not very much time left, and I was so behind that it was fuck it, you know, fuck it, we're staying home, summer started early. So although this happened during my junior year, I wasn't actually attending junior year, so I don't know, you could just call this my degenerate phase. But on this fateful day, school had just gotten out, and the routine was already in motion. I had hit up my boy Ashton, and of course Ashton came through immediately as soon as school got out. This is unfortunately probably one of my last, if not my very last story with Ashton. I genuinely can't think of any off top besides this one that I have never shared. The only reason this one took so long is because for a while I was concerned about confessing to the internet that I have pissed myself, but now all bets are off. So Ashton gets to my house maybe around 3:30 or 4 o'clock, something around that time, and it was pretty early in the afternoon, I know that much, but he gets to my house, and pretty much immediately, as soon as he walks in and gets situated, we are off to the races. You see, something about Ashton is this man brought all of his drugs to school, okay? This guy did not need to go home to grab something. This guy had it with him at all times. So he was ready. This was a mobile care package being dropped in my living room from the homie Ashton, right? So he pulls up, we're chilling out, he busts out the K immediately. Now at this point, I'd been doing ketamine for I'd say maybe 4 or 5 months. I started doing it at the very beginning of this year, right? The very beginning of the second semester of my junior year. So I had started doing it, and I had built up a little bit of a tolerance. I was kind of graduated from taking one tiny key bump off the corner of a credit card, you know? I had graduated to now we're doing tiny lines. The thing with ketamine is you don't want to do big, you know, cocaine-sized lines. If you do a line that big, you're going to end up pissing yourself like I did. So we got seated at the dining room table and immediately got to work. I mean, we busted out, he busted out, I should say, quite a few lines. I only started with one. I was not at this man's level. You see, this guy would complain about his bladder issues during math class. We were 17 years old. What bladder issue, motherfucker? That's how you know this guy, he went a little too hard, my boy Ashton, right? But either way, he took quite a few lines. I took just one for myself. But one line was more than enough to get me right, and it's all I should have done. However, you and I both know damn well that this video wouldn't have been made, this would have never existed if I did only one line, and I'm here to tell you that I didn't stop when I should have. So I did that first line, and immediately I was feeling fantastic. I don't really remember much of how the first line felt, but honestly, most of the ketamine experiences I had were somewhat comparable until you cross the K-hole threshold. It really just feels like being crossfaded. You get a buzz going, you feel this nice warmth going through you, you feel really relaxed, I feel like it elevates my mood a little bit. It definitely just feels like being a nice level of crossfaded. But once you cross that threshold, once you go into the K-hole territory, there's no turning back. You can't go back from that. Like a normal amount of ketamine, a small amount, a little bump, for example, you can turn back from that. You're going to be feeling buzzed, but you can still control yourself. Once you venture into the unknown, there's no going back. Because in the K-hole, you don't know what's going to happen. That's why it really is venturing into the unknown. One day I wet myself in the K-hole. Another day I had sex with a girl that I didn't intend to and couldn't finish in the K-hole. Many different things have happened to me from doing too much ketamine, but one thing for certain is that it's different every time. And this is the first time this had ever happened to me. So I do my first line and I'm feeling great. Ashton starts going hard though. He does his couple lines and he hits up his girl that he was talking to at the time. Now listen, this man had a new girlfriend every 3 weeks. This guy was actually the Rizzler, okay? Probably just because he sold a lot of drugs, but this dude had a new girl every week. And one thing I learned and respected about Ashton is he really did not discriminate. Every type of woman under the sun, this guy was down, bro. I have seen him with skinny white girls. I've seen her with larger dark girls. I've seen him with every spectrum of woman under the sun. This guy did not have a type. His type was pussy, and I respected that a lot. So he calls up his girl, who we're going to refer to in this video. I don't know. We'll call her Trisha, dude. Let's do Trisha. So, he calls up Trisha, and she comes on over, and this is a girl who was not around very long. I mean, I think this might have been one of the only days I met her. God bless her soul, because she's the only other person that knows this happened, and she's the one that I was, a little worried about leaking it. Ashton, I knew that's my boy. We're solid. That's my best fucking boy. That's my homie, But, his new girl? I don't know, But either way, so she comes through a little bit later. I don't know if she got an Uber or drove. She probably shouldn't have drove if she did. So we're just going to go with I hope she got an Uber. But she arrived at my house somehow. She comes in and this chick was down, okay? I thought I could do a lot of ketamine, but this girl sits down with Ashton. As soon as she comes in, she sits down and she does 2 fucking lines right off his phone. And he didn't chop small lines for her either. I remember being very impressed that she just walked in and got straight to it. I was amazed, right? I couldn't believe it. So we're all chilling out. We're chatting a little bit and I'm feeling pretty nice. Definitely still at that nice buzz level. Ashton's girl, on the other hand, was absolutely cast. Trisha was just out on the couch, bro. She laid the fuck out. She had her legs up on his lap, and she was donezo. It was a wrap, dude. She would contribute to conversations, not with words, but with different noises. She would try to chime in, and I know that she was trying to talk. I know she had a lot on her mind, but she was not able to get that shit out. And that's the thing with K-holing, right? You lose pretty much all of your motor function. It's difficult to control your limbs. Sometimes you straight up cannot talk, but your brain is working fine. It's a very, very strange substance, maybe your brain's not working 100% fine, but your thoughts are much, much clearer than your body, right? And it's a strange feeling because you're in your head what the fuck? It almost feels like you're trapped in your brain, like your soul has separated from your body. Your conscience has separated. There's just no connection between your brain and what the rest of you is doing. Damn, that's kind of fucked up. That makes me think, dude, ketamine's like an animal tranquilizer. If we can think clearly when we're K-holed, does that mean the animals can too? That's kind of fucked, dude. Damn. They should just give him a bunch of Xanax. Just shoot him up with a Xanax gun, Just knock him the fuck out for a week. That would be fire. I had a friend whose rabbit ate a couple Xanax gummy bears one time and died for 3 days and just woke back up. Went into a coma and just woke back up and just lived for another 4 years, But either way, all right, we went way off topic here. No. Get back to it. All right, focus up. Either way, so Ashton's girl was fucking cashed out on the couch. I'm feeling pretty good, but I felt like I wasn't quite at the same level as the homies. So I was like, yo, we should bust a couple plays here. First off, we need to go to Walgreens, bro. It's an objective, okay? It is a necessity, all right? We got to go to Walgreens. We got to get the snacks. We got to get the bevies. Let's fucking go. 2, I want some more tranquilizer in my system. And, you know, it worked out just that way. We got up and Ashton and I went to Walgreens. We left this girl just sleeping on the couch. And looking back at it, that was probably a dumb decision. Like, what if she couldn't be trusted? What if she stole all of my belongings? Imagine you come home and your friend's new girlfriend is gone, and so is your television and everything you've ever worked for. That would have sucked. But luckily, she turned out to be a trustable individual. We went to Walgreens, took a beautiful ass stroll up to Walgreens. It was literally like 4 minutes of walking, if even, very close to my old place. But we walk up to this Walgreens and we get in there and we're copping our little bevies. We grabbed our goodies and we got the fuck up out of there. Now listen, let me tell you a rule of thumb that always had to apply when I was with Ashton. We were never paying for shit. I don't know what his deal was. He was a big nature guy. He'd always like pick up garbage, you know, but he was also very anti-establishment. Any business was a free lick for this guy. He would have like $1,000 cash in his pocket and he'd walk into Walgreens and steal like a Mango Arizona and a bag of chips just because he could. He lived differently, bro. This guy was just different, dude. Fuck, I miss this guy. But either way, may you rest in peace. But back on topic. Either way, so we just walked straight out with the goods, and I'm pretty sure this was after I got banned officially from this place, chased out by a manager. They just don't do anything at this Walgreens. We would go in and just hit the freest licks. Now that I'm an adult, I haven't stolen something probably since I turned 18, because now it's actually like serious. You know, I guess maybe not if you live in California, but here it's pretty serious in Illinois. Like, they'll actually call the cops, and the cops will show up. So I don't do that anymore. But on this particular day, I definitely did that. So we hopped on out to Walgreens. We walked back to the crib. Thinking back on it, I don't even think we grabbed a bevy or anything for Shorty. I don't think Trisha, we even got her anything. That was fun. We didn't even pay either. So we have no excuse. That was just inconsiderate of us. Looking back we should have been better than that. Either way. So we get back to my crib and we go back upstairs. And now this is where the shenanigans really begin. You see, we sit at the dining room table and I bust out another line. I made a grave mistake here. I should have kept it at a bump, but I said, no, it's been a little bit. I feel pretty good. Let's get a line going. This line sent me over the fucking edge. See, I've mentioned numerous times before, and pretty much in every ketamine video I do, I stress the fact that there is a very thin line that you cross from this being a fun social substance to holy shit, I can't move my arms. It's a very thin line, and I crossed it real quick with this one. So I did my very thin line of ketamine, and I crossed my very thin K-hole line. And within probably 15 minutes, I was still sitting in the dining room chair, absolutely plastered. Now I'm sitting there and I'm just looking up at the nice chandelier that my mom had installed. It was a very nice chandelier. It wasn't super bougie or anything, but it was just cool to look at. And I was admiring it. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, damn, it would be fire to smoke a blunt right now. But I just could not fathom what I had to do to get the weed. I'm sitting there like, okay, if I want to smoke a blunt, I got to go grab some weed. And then I got to grab my wraps. But that means I got to stand up and I got to go in my room and I got to get that shit. And I'm sitting there like, wow, that's not physically possible right now, is it? Now it gets much worse than this. You see, I don't know if this was a symptom of the ketamine or if this was just I really had to go and I couldn't feel it because I was tranquilized, or if this was caused by urinary tract damage from the K I'd been doing. I don't know what could have caused this, but at some point as I was sitting in this dining room chair, I just straight up fucking pissed myself, and I didn't feel it. Is the weird part. I didn't notice immediately like, oh my God, I'm pissing myself, and get up. I just kind of sat there, and it wasn't even like an extremely large piss either. It was actually quite a controlled piss, When I ended up standing up later, it wasn't like a pool of piss ran down my leg or something. No, nothing like that. It was actually just, I would say maybe like a 6-inch in diameter spot of piss, some wetness that had run down to my crotchal region, which is totally fine. And it was on my, it was on most of my pants, but like it it wasn't as bad as I think it could have been, you know? It was a controlled demolition. But either way, I'm sitting in this chair, and at some point I fucking pissed myself. I don't know when, because I didn't immediately notice from feeling it. Eventually, what I did notice is I took my hands off the table and I put them in my lap. And I could feel the kind of strange feeling on my hand. I couldn't really tell at the time if it was warmth or wetness or what it was, but I just knew that something didn't feel right on my hand. And I had spent so much time just sitting at this table fucking around with Ashton and his slumped out girl that I didn't even realize that I had pissed myself. But I looked down finally at my hand and I was like, oh my God, what the fuck happened? At first I thought I had spilled my drink on myself, but my drink was sitting on the table just fine, and despite being as K-holed as I was, I still think I probably would have noticed knocking the whole drink down. So I was sitting there at first thinking, oh, it's just water or something. And then I realized kind of quickly, I was like, wait a minute. Did I fucking piss myself? So I had a really, really hard time dealing with this because I had to get up. And I said to Ashton, I remember I said something along the lines of like, bro, I got to go to the bathroom. Bro, I fucking... Oh no, dude. Oh fuck, bro. I stood up. I'll never fucking forget the way this dude laughed at me, bro. I couldn't. Holy shit. It was one of like, it was strange because I felt so embarrassed internally, but I just like couldn't deal with the problem at hand, bro. I could not deal with the problem, dude. So Ashton ended up bringing me a towel from my bathroom, and I just kind of like sat on it and then put it on my pants as I like got up and went to the bathroom, right? It took me a minute to muster up the energy to actually get up and go because I was just sitting there like, I was in disbelief. I couldn't believe it, bro. But luckily I went to the bathroom. I ended up taking probably the least efficient shower I've ever taken. You see, I had to clean myself up. So I get in the shower and I can barely fucking move, bro. And showering, you know, that's a lot of movement. And I could get my arms going, but like my brain wasn't connecting with my body. I'm thinking to myself like, yeah, get the body wash, you know, rub it on, you know, that type of shit. And I get the body wash and it takes me like 5 fucking minutes. And I start to kind of lather myself in the soap and it takes me so fucking long. I don't know how long I was in this bathroom, but I eventually finished up and I got out, right? And I grabbed myself some clothes. Luckily at my old place, I had this little situation where like, you could just get your clothes straight from the bathroom. It was a weird layout, but it was pretty fine. But either way, I got my clothes and I'm dripped out, right? I'm stepping, right? I hop out, fresh new clothes, no pee-pee on me, and I'm feeling much better. I'm starting to kind of come out of the K-hole at this point. In the shower, I had the fucking water very hot. And the only reason I know this is because I remember when I came out of the bathroom, Ashton asked me if I was smoking in that bitch. And it's just because it was so steamy in there. And I barely felt it. It felt fantastic to me. But either way, after I got my fresh clothes on, I cleaned up a little bit, I sat down and there were no more pee-pee incidents. Now, the chair I was sitting on was another concern entirely. I was very fortunate that this was just a shitty wooden chair, but I was still really disgusted, so I had to like sanitize it and wash it down. So I'm going through my mom's cleaning shit in the kitchen, and I pull out some Lysol. Realistically, I probably could have died inhaling this, but I just got like 3 different cleaning sprays out and just doused this chair, bro. I took the chair out to the balcony, and I just fucking doused it in sprays, and then I wiped it down with paper towel. And that was a little later in the evening once I was more functional, because when I first got out of the shower, I was coming out of the K-hole, but I was still feeling a little silly, feeling a little goofy, you know what I'm saying? But I cleaned up the PP, and I didn't do any more K for the rest of the night. Eventually, when I mustered up the strength, I actually rolled myself a blunt, which was extremely thrilling. Eventually, Ashton and his girl left, I'd say probably around 7 o'clock, 6:30 or 7, right before my mom got home, of course. 8:30 is the cutoff time. Get the fuck out the function. OG's coming home. Thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Use code... what should the code... what should it be? What should it be? Oh, fuck. No, let me think, bro. Use code PP. One word, P-E-E-P-E-E. Use code PP at goblin420.com for an exclusive discount on the new merch. Thank you guys for watching. I love you all. See you all.